And before we get started, I apologize. I know you guys have seen this thing in a lot different condition than what you're seeing right now, but I actually do the work, and that's what I prefer to do, so I don't spend a lot of time doing what we're doing right now, and forgive me. We've tried to update a few things that was on my iPhone in between, and maybe that worked out, maybe it didn't. But here we go. These rims that are down there, we'll start with those guys. Those are the Krager SS's that were on this car when I got it. And I've never really been a fan of the Krager Supremes or the SS's. They go on, lowrider cars are cool, they're better on that kind of stuff. There's a lot of bling, and I really never liked them for that. But I'll tell you what, this car is all about keeping it the way it was and time period correct, so I went way out of my way to do that. Now the rims were so badly rusted that it would have been cost prohibitive to try and re-chrome them. So I had a friend of mine sandblast them. The centers, these are the original old Krager, so these are magnesium. And as time goes by and they get out into the elements, these are gonna turn that greenish gray look, which is kind of a cool look, you know, the magnesium look. These, I had him kind of put like a polished aluminum type powder coat on there. And my idea was, since I knew I wasn't gonna come back with anything over that, they're gonna wind up looking more like a torque thrust wheel. And I think I kind of achieved that for as wasted as these wheels were. I think they look pretty cool. I'm 67 years old. I wanted this car to look like what I would have came into contact with when I was a kid. We didn't have any money and there wasn't any place to get parts other than a junkyard. And these cars weren't worth shit back in those days, so likely I would have paid like 50 bucks for this car, and we'd have done whatever we could have at the time to make it cool. Now these would have been out of my budget, the wheels with the white letters and everything, but it's conceivable. It could happen a few years later. So I think I kind of achieved that look. To look at the car, I think it looks like something I would have driven back in the 1970s, the early 70s. And I didn't want to spend money on it either, so those were pretty cheap. Those are new tires. The wheels are used, like I said. A customer gave me the knockoff caps, and those are originals. Those have been sitting in a package, in a box, since 1980. These front tires were some of a friend of mine, Paul's here, off some other project that he was doing. He didn't like them. And I said, well, hell, I'll take them. The price was right for free. And I wanted to put the BF Goodrich TA radials on the back, but I started reading some of those comments, and everybody was bitching about the raised white letters were actually, they turned into raised brown letters. And I know what they're talking about because I figured that was relatively new. Maybe they're made in China like everything else nowadays. I got ready to clean these things up with soap and water, and the more I cleaned these, the more brown the letters were getting. And these are probably 2 or 3 years old, right? Had never been put on a car, but they're at least that old. And then I opted for those back there because of the size, and then they were half the price of the BF Goodrich. And lo and behold, I started cleaning them up, and look what happened to the damn letters on that. The tops of them aren't turning brown, they're just turning black. So I guess it's just a sign of the times. But anyways, this thing had to be a little bit hokey anyways. So the paint job, it's been painted, and I went way out of my way to do the body of this car right. It's like a brick shit house. It's never gonna rust again. Everything that needed to get done is done, and it's done to the nth degree. I'm a little bit depressed about the matte clear and the way that it came out on the car. The roof is not bad. The deck lid and the top of the quarters is not horrible. But the sides, it's got a lot of spotting, and the hood is pretty horrible. So interesting thing happened on this. This is in the works, and the paint that I always brag about is Lucid Technologies North Star. The North Star is for like Peterbilt and Kenworths. It's considered fleet paint, right? And there's a lot of crossovers to automotive, and a lot of people that are in my position from the paint spot perspective, they don't know that. They don't know what the different, areas of refinish are all about. So they can't really elaborate on it. If they can't elaborate on it, they can't take an automotive project and refer somebody to the quality of the North Star fleet paint. So I do it all the time, and I've been in contact with those guys, and interestingly enough, a couple of days after I had cleared this thing, they showed up down here. So I won't mention any names, but 3 people. Anyways, or no, there was just two of them, that's right. The third one opted out of it, and he got lucky, I guess. Anyways, they showed up to look at this, the results on the Clear, and they were all talking about linking this thing in with my channel, their channel, whatever the deal is with that. I had a problem with the Clear. I told them I had a problem. I don't think that they answered it to me in a very satisfactory way, and I'm a little bit pissed. I'm a lot pissed off. If this was a customer's car, I'd be eating this and redoing the whole damn thing. Since I'm the customer, I can live with the shitty results somewhat. I'm going to get grilled for this from people that think that I should be better than that, and I will do something about it. I just don't know what that something's going to be yet. But I'm also going to take the opportunity to throw them under the damn bus. Yeah, they've got good products, but SC280 is not one of them, so don't use that shit. I'll probably put a BASF product or something on here, or Matrix or something like that, and I'll be sure to fill you guys in on what that was. When you put matte clear on, it should go on wet, just like everything else. The chemistry should do the work, and when it cross-links, flashes off, it should look even. It should not look like this mess here. So, that's the deal with that. Did they already see the?
Well, it's in the picture, but yeah, let's see it. And also, I want to mention we've got quite a few people watching live right now. We have Brandon, Danny, and Elaine as well. So.
Okay, so nobody's going to get offended by this, are they?
I can't speak to that, homie. I can't speak to it.
All right. So, anyways, yeah, we put a name on it. That was typical back in the old days, and I just take something that enters my head. For those of you that don't know what that means, I'll explain a couple of things. The W right here is made out of two horseshoes. It kind of ties in with the word shoes right there. And it looks like that to kind of bring notice to the fact that it's a W engine. And this is the first year for the W engine. So that was a Chevrolet, big deal back in the time. It's also a tri-power car originally. So there's a lot of cool things about this W motor. The Lucy, instead of being spelt like a girl's name, is kind of it revolves around it having a positive track rear end in it, and it being an old car, and it's probably gonna have some rattles and squeaks and stuff. So that was out of my head. I opted for that. A good friend of mine, Jeremy Yeager, he's somebody that you guys ought to look into. He's the one that did all this, and this guy is off the hook, man. He's really good with a brush, or airbrush, or whatever the deal is. And he did that. While he was doing that, he also put in some stuff that we've been sure he's correct. Not much, because we didn't make it gaudy, but in reference to the engine 348.
Wow, that is so clean.
And a lot of the older cars did that. We tried to make it wore out, like we replicated the patina on the car.
Right, and that's this as well.
Now, yeah, and so that little saying, Lucy Two Shoes, and we don't have any kids watching this, right?
Well, I said
They're
that
not
it's
supposed to. It's not made for kids. Yeah.
Exactly. I said it's not made for kids, so you're fine.
So Lucy Two Shoes was a reference for the local tramp, I guess, slut for the day. If you wanted to get laid, that girl over there, she's a Lucy Two Shoes. So that's kind of what it's all about too. So all that stuff revolves around the year of this car, 1958. So there you have it.
It's very period correct.
Now, do we want to look at what we did to the interior?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so let's check that out. And the car's dirty. We didn't clean it up or anything, and it's not finished either, so by any means. If you look inside here, I originally wasn't going to do anything with the dash. I had some other issues going on behind the dash, so I had to deal with it. I figured, okay, might as well just put some paint on it and fix it up a little bit. That's all the original stuff there on the dash. The tachometer up on top was something that we used to do when I was a kid. And that tachometer's probably been in my possession for at least 30 years, and somebody else's for probably another 30 years before that. So it's period correct, and I've got a red and black garter, a female's garter that I'm going to put around it when I actually start driving it. Yeah, it's pretty cool. The radio was a good working, pristine AM radio that I was way okay with until my cat knocked it off the workbench and ruined it. So I sent it to a guy in Tennessee. Yeah, I know, what a bummer. I sent it out to a guy in Tennessee. He had another volume on-off switch, and you have to have the original stuff to be able to do what he does to it. So he gave me that for free, and then he retroed the guts to AM/FM.
Oh, that's awesome.
Whatever that computerized crap's called, with Wi-Fi or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bluetooth or whatnot.
Yes. Now the gauges down there, one of them was inside the car, and the other two are stuff that I had sitting around. And that is an original Stuart Warner backing plate there, that holder that's holding all three of those things, fixture. And those gauges are all the old original Stuart Warner gauges. Not maybe original to this car, but old school, at least as old as this car. So what I've done here is I went way out of my way to keep the car with the same parts it had, or anything that got replaced was period correct. The headliner and the visors, those are the same headliner and visors that were in the car. Those are the originals, just painted black because I couldn't live with the white.
Wow.
Yeah.
You got a couple folks requesting to see the engine. Are you going to show us the engine
I'm
at some
going to show
point?
you all the engine, heck yeah. So inside there, all the chrome, everything else is all original. I even made the clock functional, so that clock actually works.
Oh.
Yeah.
Elaine is asking if your car is easy.
If my car is easy, I don't know. We'll find out. It's never been fired up yet. We'll find out.
Oh.
Made the door panels and did the machine look kind of from the 62 to 64 Impala Super Sports.
Wait, you made that?
Yeah, we did that with roll-lock wheels and a drill press. One little circle pattern at a time. We've got, I don't know, days in just those two panels. But I wasn't going to pay $400 for some cheesy things that are one-time use only, so I did my own thing. Didn't spend any time or any money on rechroming anything.
No, honestly, it looks better that way.
This is old janky-looking junk. This is the way the car came. And then the Muncie 4-speed in there. There you go. That finishes off the inside.
Oh, heck yes.
Oh, wait a minute. For the radio, too, since it is updated to AM, FM, we had to change the speakers. But the one in the front dash right there, it's changed to a 2-channel. So there's a speaker right where it originally went. But it's a 2-channel, so I'll get both channels of the stereo. And then back there in the back seat where the Impala insignia is, there's a speaker back there, and it's also 2-channel.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's going to work, should work pretty cool. All right, Dan. So what you're looking at here, and some of you guys have seen pictures of this engine before, and I had the Thixton top hats on the carburetors, the 3 of them. And I did this like, it's kind of like a wrinkle finish, kind of imitation wrinkle finish. I did it with bed liner and some black paint and whatnot. Well, that wasn't going to allow the hood to clear. I couldn't even put the insulator up there, so I didn't want to cut them up. I wanted to save them. And then I went upstairs and found this. Well, this was made for a 5.5-inch center-to-center spacing on the carburetors. Well, on these 3 Strombergs in this original intake manifold, it's a 6-inch center-to-center. So I had to take it over to a buddy of mine with a machine shop. We cut each one of the holes out with a great big hole saw, and we changed those out to a 6-inch center line. And then we raised them up inside the bottom plate here about 1/4 of an inch, because we had to get this whole thing a lot lower to get this thing to shut and fit in here. And we took 75 thousandths out of the bottom here where the filter element sits down in. And I took 75 thousandths off the inside of the lid where the other part of the filter fits. Still didn't fit, so we took 175 thousandths off the top. And that's what you see here. I probably got a week's worth of work into this stupid thing here, but that's kind of how cheap I am. I'm not going to buy a new one. I'd rather spend 2 weeks on something and twice the money fixing something old. Yeah, I know, what a bummer. But there we are anyways, and it looks kind of cool with that look. I also incorporated some of that into the outside of the car, and actually some of that is something I want to put out to you guys. Right over here on this side, I got a pipe laid out. And this is all 3-inch, so this actually fits up underneath the car so you don't see this. That would be back in here, and we'd have a little dump coming out or aiming back in front of the wheel here, right? So that's one way we can do this. And I want to know what you guys think on it, because the jury's out. I can go either way. The other scenario would be this here. Now, these are pretty rare. These things came off a '63 Corvette. And they're worth a lot of money, but these were given to me for free, so that ought to tell you what kind of condition they were in. So I straightened them all out, and I did that same thing with the texture, the black and aluminum type thing, right? And I can put these right about here.
Oh, those are so sick.
And run a 3-inch pipe straight back. And I'm probably going to cut the curb off because the pipe will come down here right behind this thing and come out here and then be like wedge cut here to where it's just kind of blowing out this way, right? You won't see the pipe sticking out, or it depends on what you guys say. Maybe you want to see a pipe sticking out, I don't know. Or maybe you don't want these at all. My son was telling me, well, Dad, the ride height of the car looks really, really badass and cool, but all of a sudden when you put these things on, it kind of brings a little bit of a lower effect in there. I don't know, what do you guys think? Can you get a shot maybe from a little...
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think they look really sick.
Yeah.
Oh, I love them. But yeah, we'll see.
And they would have been period corrected. This car, and not when I got it, but at some point somebody had side pipes on it because I had to cut all them damn brackets off from being body.
Danny says you need exhaust cutouts.
Cutouts. Oh, and the quarter panel?
Yeah, do you mean in the quarter panel, Danny? That's what I wasn't sure of either. We'll wait and see for his response because we got a little bit of lag.
Okay. So and then also I'm putting straight pipes on here. There won't be any muffler if I use these. If I use the other one, yeah, you saw one of those Cook's mufflers.
Right.
Right now I've got cones up inside the header collector. So I did that on a sedan delivery that I built a few years ago. There's like a little bit of a baffle you can put up in there, and I got a hole drilled with a bolt through it on the back side of the collector there. So who needs mufflers, right?
Oh no, not with this car.
No, hell no.
Danny says incorporate those covers and pipe with the exhaust cutouts.
Okay, I'm not exactly sure what he means by that, unless he's talking about having like a little, like a thing right here with a bunch of like holes in it.
I don't know. We'll wait. We'll wait and see what he says.
Okay.
He says no. I don't know.
No?
I don't know. I guess you gotta talk to him about it.
Yeah.
Open exhaust cutouts.
No, okay, to uncork the headers up here?
Do you mean uncorking the headers up there, Danny? I don't know. We'll see what he says.
I think that's what he wants. Yeah, other people have said that too. I think they're kind of hokey. If I want to uncork the headers, okay, it's uncorked. Pull the damn mufflers off the whole shooting match and run it like that, which is, that's not out of the question.
All right.
But I want to drive this thing cross country.
Yes,
So
exactly.
It's
So
got
you
to
don't
have some kind of pipes on it.
you don't want to be wearing earplugs the entire time.
No,
Yeah.
no. So yeah, that's another thing to this. This whole thing had to be done to where this car can be a daily driver. That's one of the reasons it doesn't have a nice shiny paint job on it. I'm going to tell you right now, this car right here, I've got twice as much work, and it looks like shit because of this matte clear. It took me twice as much work than it did to paint this Chevelle right here with the nice pretty blue.
Oh, the blue
job.
Paul's Chevelle. Yeah.
Yeah, and the SS stripes and everything. So I'll never do this again. Well, it's not worth it. I'm too old for that, and I got too many more cars to finish.
So, yeah, Danny says yes, full exhaust or open. So what I want to know then is actually, wait a second, the steering column. Where are you at with the steering? Because that was...
Okay, so I've got the steering back in it and hooked up. I had to fix some blinkers or something, but it's all hooked up down here. Got the Heim joint over there. And
Nice. Yeah, that's... Wow. Is that risky running it through the exhaust pipes like that? Isn't it going to be really hot? Are you worried about any sort of bushing damage or nope?
No.
Cool.
Oh, and I've got the Ram Air thing in here, the air ducts.
Oh, yeah.
That hasn't been buttoned up yet, but they're all connected. So yeah, I'm pulling air from the front and sending it up over the headers and into the car.
Awesome. Okay.
And maybe later, maybe I'll make another breather. Danny would like this. Either tie it back here into the cowl. I got a perfect area for it.
Yep.
A smoky eunuch thing, right, Danny?
Yeah.
You're on top of that. Or who's to say I couldn't tie it into the Ram Air, or a little bit of both,
Right.
right?
All right. So...
And how does that work with Stromberg 2 barrels? Is it too much? Is it going to lean it out, or what do you say?
All right, we'll see. So what's next for the car? Because you're pretty close to firing it up at this point.
Yes, I am. So I got to put the front bumper on. I've been kind of holding that off for a while because it's going to be a real pain in the ass. But actually, let me show it to you because the black and the aluminum thing I got going on there. show the back.
Oh,
right
yeah,
there. You can already see
absolutely.
that center plate.
Yep.
That was rusted all to hell. And there's no body filler in that. That was all metal work and welding. And so I kind of did that and then clear coated over so it doesn't rust. And the same thing here with the front bumper. So these bumpers are beat all to hell. You see all the scratching and everything. I'm not trying to fix anything. I mean, I've got enough money to get them re-chromed and I've got the connections to do that. I don't want to do that. This is the way the car was, and all this stuff happened in the accident this poor car got into a long time ago.
Wow.
What I did do though was, desensitize a lot of the rust on the inside and clean the hell out of it, and I sprayed a direct metal paint on there so it'll never get any worse. And the rear bumper's done the same way.
I mean, I love that idea of really keeping it true to form. It's also going to help it be a daily driver.
Well, that really helps, because once you make the cars really pristine, I know I've got a few of them upstairs. I won't drive them. I just totally lose interest. I don't
Yep.
want that to happen on the 58.
Exactly.
And somebody will just have to have it. And if they want to put a real paint job on it or whatever they want, pride of ownership, baby. You can do whatever you want. You just got to pay the price, right?
Yeah, fair enough. All right, so we're going to put the front bumper on it. What else?
I got to hook up the backup lights. That was another thing. This car, everybody knows the backstory. It got wrecked like many, many years ago, back in the 60s. And the kid that had gotten a hold of this car somewhere back in the early days decided that backup lights or lenses weren't cool. So it had some glow bright lenses in here, and I didn't really know the difference until I got ready to put it back together. I'd never realized that there was 3 red lights on each side. And then I've got a Muncie 4-speed in here. My son wants everything to work, and so he kind of prods me like, Dad, you are going to fix the damn backup lights. So yeah, I had to have backup lenses first, but I'll bet you those 2 lenses that came out of here are probably worth a few bucks themselves, because there's some nostalgic old aftermarket stuff. And I guess back in them days, backup lights just weren't cool, huh?
I guess not. Elaine says that she loves your space. She's a little jealous, and she's got to come check it out.
Oh, you do need to come over here and check this out. Yeah, and there's more to it. We got to show you where Faye's at.
Yeah, true that.
Yeah. Yeah, and then one of these days we're going to get another project out here and show the rest of you guys on this channel what some of these real cars are all about. This is kind of a hokey piece of junk, but got some cool ones back there.
Well, can we get a little sneak peek of the 61 then? Or what else is back there?
I'll show you something that they've never seen before.
Okay.
So this guy here, it's a 68 Dodge Cornet RT.
Oh!
Yeah. And I bought this, I'm from California originally. I bought this out of a junkyard in 1979 in Ivanhoe, California, which is Tulare County for you guys to know where that's at. Some of you guys might know what that is, right?
What the? Oh my gosh! I'm waiting. We'll wait and see what people say. We'll see if anyone can guess.
Yeah, they're gonna shit when they see this. And that's not the original engine to the car. I mean, I don't know if it ever was a Hemi, but the motor and trans was out of it when I bought it. I paid $200 for it. It was on top of 5 other cars. It was getting ready to be crushed.
Danny says, "Let's see the Hemi."
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So as far as I know, I was the first one to ever buy one in the state of Texas when they reintroduced the 426, and I might be the only one that ever did. I bought it from the Becker Chrysler dealer over in New Braunfels, Texas. So that's one that I'm probably going to do next.
Elaine says, "Rick," and nothing else, so I don't know what that means.
Yeah, nobody's ever touched this car but me, and I haven't even touched it for probably 8-10 years. All the bodywork's done, the motor, the trans, the suspension, the rear end, all that stuff is in the car. It's got a Hemi 4-speed in it and a Dana 60 411 rear end in it. It's got all the right stuff in it. And so it's just going to take me getting it out, and maybe Danny will have to help me out a little bit, because the engine, the only time it was ever fired up is when Chrysler did. It's just been sitting here, never been fired here.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so.
Elaine says she's speechless, and Danny says thank you.
Yeah, stay tuned, Danny. I got to get you in on this one. And yes, I have been rotating the engine periodically.
Awesome. Wow, you got a treasure trove back here. This is excellent. Well, stay tuned, people, because it's only going to get better. So,
Yeah, stay tuned.
so next video up is finishing the 58, firing it up.
Firing it up, yes. I will get you guys involved in that, and hopefully that doesn't literally blow up in my face.
Yeah. So, hey, oh God, don't
If
do
it
that.
does, it's probably going to happen live, right?
I guess so. Elaine says, I said I'm speechless. You know, that is not like me, she says. Well, all right. So then I guess the final question is, all right, you guys, we need your input on the exhaust. So go ahead and drop.
Side pipes or not?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Say it again.
Side pipes.
Side pipes or not? All right. So let us know in the comments below. We'll give you a week.
Is the stance cool?
I mean, do I think the stance is cool? Dude, it's fucking sick. I love it. But yeah, let's hear in the comments. Danny says that's $100,000 car easily.
Maybe.
And Elaine says, thanks so much for doing this. We needed an update. So.
Well, thank you for listening, you guys.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks for watching. And we'll see you again soon. We are.